That was Huang Fei reporting. Well, the World Bank projects China's economy will grow 5.2% in 2023. That's in part to a focus on scientific and technological self-reliance. In southwest China's Chengdu, the capital of Sichuan province, the government and IT enterprises are working together to promote technology exports. Guo Tianqi has more.
According to the China Passenger Car Association, the country is expected to export more than 5 million autos this year, surpassing Germany and Japan to take the top shot. This rapid growth brings export opportunities. A private company that provides intelligent operating systems is looking to take its technology a step further overseas.
We have more than 10,000 technical R&D engineers in the world, covering more than 40 countries and regions, and the Chengdu company is providing all the technical support, including smart car internet, AI, and other fields of full-stack technology.
The company not only provides autonomous driving technology, but also smart hardware such as 5G modules, edgebox, tablets, and robotics.
We are working with local car companies to provide a comprehensive solution to all the autonomous driving scene, and then expanding overseas business together.
To make this collaboration a success, the local financial bureau is upgrading its services. According to the People's Bank of China and the Ministry of Finance, the Chengdu-Chongqing Financial Center in Western China will establish science and technology innovation finance services by 2025.
We have a very complete financial ecosystem that can provide these innovative enterprises with almost all the cross-border financial and monetary services they need, including investment, credit services, loan consulting, and intermediary services to help them to go overseas.
Experts believe that the Chinese enterprises are increasingly focusing on exporting high-value-added products, such as the digital economy and the new infrastructure industries. And this trend is expected to make up for the shortcomings observed in many countries around the world. Guo Tianqi, CGTN, Chengdu, Sichuan Province.
Well, joining us now to discuss the 40-plus years of economic transformation in China is John Gong. He's a professor at the University of International Business and Economics and a China Forum expert. John, thanks so much for joining our program again today.
Thank you.
Well, let's put this in perspective for our viewers. Where is China today in comparison to the 1970s when these reforms were first implemented?
Well, I mean, what a big change after all these 40 years. You know, China is totally transformed, and it's not just the economy that's been developed, also from a, as you have reported quite extensively, from a technological development perspective, China has made great stride over the years, being sort of totally lagging behind the Western world in the 40 years ago. Up to now, it's in some areas actually leading the world, especially, for example, as you reported, the development of electric cars and also autonomous driving and other new applications and technologies being used in the future cars. And this is and I think, you know, looking back over these 40 years, certainly China benefited immensely from an open door policy. And in this process, I think you know, the advancement of Chinese companies should be also, in my view, attributed to you know, many foreign direct investments that China has attracted over the years. China learned a lot from the West and also transformed itself through all these years.
You mentioned technology. Of course, that's a big driver for China's economy. But what other sectors would you say have also contributed to China's economic growth?
I think other than you know, the technological development, I think it's very clear in its early days, you know, it's very much an exports-oriented economy. Up until, I would say, 10, 15 years ago, you know, the export sector still holds a fairly large portion of China's GDP. But now, of course, it's totally different. And I think certainly our government plays a very important role in terms of promoting, I'm talking about various levels of local government, for example, in terms of promoting economic development. It has been a very, very pro-growth, pro-business government agenda at various levels of government over the last few decades. And this has been, in my view, this has been very much I would even describe as sort of the government gene, at various levels of Chinese governments, that pro-growth, pro-business, attracting investment, creating jobs, increasing the tax base. I mean, this has been sort of the reoccurring theme of all the government agendas over the last few decades here in China.
And John, besides those sectors that you mentioned, what are some of the main economic sectors China is hoping to advance in the years to come? What do you see in that respect?
I think I think I can at least point to 3 or 4 areas. One, for example, is related to the climate change, the new energy sector, alternative vehicles, for example, anything related to addressing the climate agenda. I think Chinese companies are really leading, at least partially leading in this sector. So many new companies, new technologies being developed. Another area that China, I think, has been doing quite well, corporate China has been doing quite well, is in the digital economy area. These large platform companies like Alibaba and Tencent, we're all very familiar with. These are all, behemoth, world-leading companies, and this is one area that's been doing quite well. And I think in medical science, in health science, for example, Chinese companies are also catching up, and these are the industries of the future. And I think that the China's government's industrial policy, as well as VC investments in these areas, are just tremendous, as far as I know.
I know it's hard to predict the future a lot of times, but by the end of the decade, what, in your opinion, where do you see China economically speaking? What would be the status of China at that period of time?
Yeah. Okay. So China has grown. The economy has grown from really minuscule compared to the Western economies up until the second largest economy in the world right now, just behind the United States. And in terms of the growth, I think it's we used to have almost double-digit growth, but these days are totally behind us for good now. And I'm moving forward. I would project China's growth rate will be somewhat around 5% a year. I mean, it's very difficult for such a large-sized economy to grow at a fast speed anymore. So I would say 5% territory will be maybe another 4 to 5 years, and beyond that, I would say China's becoming like a developed economy, where you see 3% growth is regarded as a very good year. So I think after 5 years, we're probably getting into the 3% territory, 3% growth territory, and it's just going to be like a developed economy in my view. China's already almost got into the highest category in the World Bank's gross national income classification scheme. GDP per capita is a little short of $13,000, which is the threshold for high-income countries in the income classification scheme. And China is going to be there, in my view, in 2 to 3 years, being one of the 60-some high-income countries in the world.
We'll see how those predictions play out. John Gong, always good to get your perspective. Thank you.
Thank you.